Hello everybody, this is Easy Mode Gurpums bringing you another Marine Arena tutorial. Now this one is going to be Mutalisks, which are probably the hardest mercenary in Marine Arena. Now I say this for a number of reasons, because they are absolutely eaten up by their counters. Now basically anything that has splash and hits air does well versus them. Mainly Goliaths though, because they have dual fire, which means they can fire at air and ground. Now I'll be using them here with Ravens, which as you can see I threw down 2-point defense drones, which allowed me to get a great number of kills that I wouldn't have normally gotten without losing too many Mutalisks. I'd say that was actually a pretty good trade right there, despite having probably the hardest counter, like I said. Now, mutas are very hard because you have to split them up. Now, you'll notice if you've ever tried to use mutas in Marine Arena, I would guess that you lost unless you played a lot of ladder and know how to split and how to harass with Mutalisks, because it's not an easy task. Now, and this is actually a sort of old replay. They've actually gotten slightly nerfed since in the range, which is actually huge. Nerfing range on Mutalisks is a big deal. But, right here you can see what I do versus units that have no splashes. I will pull back the damaged ones in the front. Now this is, I'd say there's two types of splitting with Mutalisks. One would be pulling back the damaged ones in the front. That works really well versus no splash units, and that's not actually too hard to master. I'd say that's what I'm best at because it's honestly just easier. But there's another thing that you can do, which would be splitting versus units that have splash. See, I just did it there, right there. I pulled back the damaged ones, but I didn't. They're still clumped up because normal Marauders don't actually have that great of splash. But you'll see me versus Goliaths, I try to pull them into a concave so that they don't stack up on each other much. Now, getting mutas to not stack up on each other is a hard task. But even more so if you're trying to multitask Raven point defense drones with it, which is something that you definitely should do, because look at that, I just dropped down and got a bunch of kills I shouldn't have normally gotten already a couple times this game. And another thing that Mutalisks when you upgrade them, air, because splash damage does decrease damage to the units next to it, and splash damage is how you counter air. All air is actually nerfed for their armor scaling. They don't get a full 1 armor per upgrade, and so that means that you don't want to stack armor on them. But health is huge, because not only does it make them last a lot longer, but it makes them much easier to micro, because you can pull them back and push them forward without them all dying yet. Health also scales with the elite energy regeneration. So my Ravens here get much faster regeneration when I upgrade the health on them. Of course you also want some damage or else they won't do anything, but it's something to keep in mind that pairing elites with units that you stack health on is very useful, and putting health on units that you have to micro a lot for survivability is also useful. Now, another thing you should keep in mind is the Seeker missiles, which I have already used to feed up to first in the first 10 minutes. But I also use here when I don't actually need a point defense drone because his Marauders are terrible, and it's nearly 20 minutes and he doesn't have an upgrade mercenary. Another thing you should understand about Mutalisks is harassing. Harassing is something I'll get into soon when Purple, I believe he goes Immortals, and I harass them. Now, how Mutalisks work is that they actually have 3 hits per attack. They do not have splash. A lot of people think they have splash. That's not true. They have a glaive attack, which bounces. So, like, 1 hit will bounce with decreased damage to the next 2 units over. So you can get 3 units with 1 thing. And you notice that, Mutalisks, they stack 800 supply on 1 unit. You can have 800 supply firing at once, which is something you just can't do easily with 6 range units. It's just not possible without Stutter stepping in and probably losing your whole ball to their giant ball of units also. That's key for harassment with the 3 glaive. Basically what I'm saying is, you run up to a unit because they're so fast, and you aim move on it and shift click back, so they run up, all 800 supply of it kills that 1 unit, and the 3 bounces get actually 3 kills. You can harass Goliath and be getting 3 Goliath, here, I believe I do it here. No I don't, he just runs away so I don't need to. But you can get 3 Goliath kills by attacking 1 Goliath. That is mainly why Mutalisks are favored for most, like, high-level Marine Arena players. White is feeding blue right there. Don't be like White. He's not actually doing it intentionally, though. But notice that I dropped the point defense drones and try to form the concave, pull back the weakened units. That is what you want to do. This is not something that you're going to pick up easily. This is really hard, actually. I'm actually not that great at it. I might do a re-feature on Mutalisks with someone like Ice, who is probably, yeah, he probably has the best splits of anybody that I know in Marine Arena. He's actually a tournament winner, so It's really good. But what you're going to want to do with Mutalisks mainly is try not to lose mass. I mean, they're like any unit, except... I mean, you want to not lose mass with any unit, but with Mutalisks it's particularly effective because they're weak in a 1v1. Because they can stack 800 supply, they have to be nerfed. They're not actually supposed to be able to A-move versus anything and win, but they do because, yeah. They're just supposed to lose, and they're supposed to be used with your allies' units. And that doesn't work so well versus Goliaths that have dual fire. I mean, it'll work great on these Immortals and stuff. But dual fire, basically, they'll be able to fire at your ally and you at the same time, which means you need to go Ravens or just have amazing splits to be able to engage them. Air is just completely different from all units. You can keep your towers the entire game easily. I mean, nobody can contest you in towers, especially if you have Ravens, because if you haven't noticed, I keep towers with turrets, because turrets actually count as a unit. They can be stormed, they can be fungaled, they can be grav beamed, believe it or not, and they can hold towers also. See right here, because he doesn't have much splash, I just pull back the damage units and push them back forward again, so I don't actually need to split them and have really good micro to fight him. But versus blue, I need a wide concave, or else I just lose to him easily. Now, I think that pretty much covers everything. Right here, yeah, you can see me harassing right there. But I believe that covers everything. Goliath, I mean, air snowballs so differently than everything else that a lot of times you'll get like 4 Goliath players in one game, which is just ridiculous. That gets so old if you go Mutalisk. So watch out for that. They're very easily countered, and I'm not expecting anyone to be able to micro them in one game of practice. Really, it takes forever. I've played too much Marine Arena, and I'm still not that great at it. Yeah, I believe that covers everything. It's good to transition into Destroyers, because a lot of people go Goliaths, which I actually end up doing to finish this game, though we kill everybody off, and then Blue just leaves because he has to go, so that's pretty much how this game goes. Anyways, good luck.